So Brad, we're on a field trip, man. We're in a data center, and we'll talk about data center. We'll do a segment on it later. But based on our backup conversation we're having, we wanted to show you these things. And this is the first, besides the backup to itself, this is the first means that most people start backing up, is a tape drive. And we've all seen these things, these tapes. Actually, this is a really good one. It's LTO4, but we're not going to get into all that stuff. But as far as tape drives go, these are big and fast and bad to the bone. But the first thing that you notice is you have to have this tape. These tapes are very expensive. The next thing you notice is I can put the tape in my pocket, so that's probably not good. And then, what do you do about checking these things, Brad? Do people check these? Do these things fail?
Yeah, very, very rarely do people actually check these. In fact, some of the statistics that are out there is that only about 30 to 40% of customers actually even test their tape backup strategy for completeness and data integrity and things like that. And when they do, close to 80% of them actually show failures. And so it's a combination of not testing them very often, and when they do test them, they come into a lot of failures that actually has many folks actually very concerned about using tape technology. However, I mean, it is extremely present still, and there's so many businesses and folks that still use tapes as a backup strategy, because the same way that you mentioned that it's a challenge to be able to put those things in your pocket. At the same time, people do think, hey, it's pretty convenient. I can just pop it into Susie's purse, and Susie can take it home with her, overnight. So.
Yeah, it's been a proven. I mean, as you all well know, it's been a proven technology. The next thing I'll mention is inside the tape drive requires a transport, and it's mechanical. And anything mechanical breaks. But you know what? There's a lot of reasons to use tape still for legacy systems to do migrations and to do other stuff. So there's still a real use, but this is the first entry point of our backup episode.
And one of the other reasons that folks have moved on, let's say, from tape technology to something different is, although there are some pretty significant write speeds that you can get, I mean, many times it's actually the backup window is extended because of it's basically a process of reading and reading. The tape drive churns through that data for a while, then writes some, and then goes back to reading and writes, and so it isn't a very fluid, flow of information or data all the time. So
what we're going to talk about today is this USB mass storage device. Statistics say that more people back up their endpoints and their servers here than anything else. And the reason is probably simple. You can go to any consumer electronics store and you can buy this thing. It's cheap. It's a powered USB 2 external hard drive, but no moving parts, nothing to break. But here again, there's some downside to it. Cheap. I can still pick it up. I can still take it around. I can't network it unless there's probably a way, but it's very complex. Mm-hmm. And these things scale, man. I mean, USB devices. There's some big ones now. Tell me about those.
Yeah, I mean, we've acquired ourselves for several different uses. I mean, you can get these things in just extremely large sizes now. I mean, 9-10 terabytes are actually coming onto the market, and so in that respect, you can have a relatively small footprint here with an extreme amount of storage space. That is very much a selling point for those larger devices. And one of the drawbacks, though, as you kind of alluded to, besides some of the things you mentioned, is this thing is still decentralized backups.
Right.
And so let's pretend that you have one or two devices that you want to put into that. Then that may work out fine. But as you look at, as your enterprise grows, and now you're talking about 5, 10, 15 maybe users, or you want to talk about servers as well, then you have the need to centralize. So that's why you may go and kind of take that next step up to those different kind of solutions. But as you said, a large number of customers still back up because they're so cheap and good.
Yeah, and it's all about finding the fit. I mean, this is much better than nothing. But when you really find the RTO and the RPO of a user and that need, this won't fit a medium to large business most of the time, but still it's better than nothing.